Hi guys, just doing a video for The Walking Dead Season 3. Just a quick 5-minute video. So yeah, this season, I guess I have to say, it was my least favourite season. And it's mainly because some of the mistakes they made in the season and basically the comic being probably the best thing The Walking Dead franchise has ever done. Like, the amount of crazy moments in the comic when it comes to the prison storyline and how much they actually skip. Like this prison arc could have lasted for like 3 to 4 seasons if you actually think about it. If you've read the comics, man, like the amount of stuff that actually happens. Maybe 3 seasons at the most, but Jesus, it's crazy how much they actually skipped. I mean, because not even all of season 4, like, because by the time you get halfway through season 4, they've basically finished the prison storyline where that could have been like 2 full seasons. Kind of like how the Saviors were like 2 full seasons, but people just got sick of them at that point. But if they actually translated a lot of what happened in the comic well in season 3, man, this probably would have been my favourite season, easily. Because the amount of crazy stuff that happens, and like if they remix them as well. I mean, if you've read the comics, that's all I'm saying, man. I don't need to say anything else, because, wow. That's the Walking Dead at its best, the whole franchise, man. Like, the comic prison storyline, like, man, crazy, all the stuff that happens. In season 3, they've turned it down a bit, and they kind of got a new person running the show because the previous one got fired, and then I guess that the actor of Dale wanted to leave as well because he was kind of friends with the previous person who was directing the show, and this new person just completely skipped a lot of, you know, the comic storyline, the prison storyline. He skipped so much, yeah. And I'm actually happy they got rid of him and just replaced him with Scott Gimple afterwards. Which, man, Scott Gimple near his end, he messed up too, man. He probably committed worse sins. Yeah, this guy who directed this season skipped some of the best of the Walking Dead franchise, and only a bit, like not even half, only a bit of how good the comic was with the prison storyline. Like, cause you don't even get to see the prisoners, like some of the prisoners that they actually had. You get a few of them in the TV show, but not all of the ones. Like there was one that was literally a serial killer, and you can imagine what happened with him. My God, just the amount of crazy things that happened. Like Tyrese, when they introduced him, oh my God, he was way different from the TV version. The TV version is like a wimp in comparison. Like he destroys Rick. Like he literally sends Rick off a cell block and breaks his leg. Like just, and then in the TV show, like Tyrese gets his ass whooped by Rick. Like it's just, there's so many things that are different, and the comic just does it so much better. And then there's some things where it gets too dark, like, you know, that moment where Maggie and he gets raped by the governor. Let's just say another characters in that situation, but sadly it actually happens. But then the governor gets, you know, destroyed later on. Like, we see how the governor dies in season 4, but when the person that, you know, gets the thing done to them by the governor gets their revenge, they go all out in their revenge, man. My God, that's all I'm gonna say. If you've read the comic, you know, like that image, man, when the governor just gets destroyed. Man, all them things just taken off him. Oh, yeah. I mean, you see, I mean, he loses his eye just like he does in the comic, but let's just say it's a lot worse than that. He loses a lot more than just the eye. So yeah, basically, I just wasn't a big fan of season 3 because they cut so much content from, you know, the comic and Andrea, because Andrea's like one of the best characters in the comic, and they completely ruined her. I mean, they gave some of her character to Michonne, who was the MVP of probably that season, alongside the governor to a degree. But yeah, I mean, Mel, like, he had some great stuff as well when they brought him back. I mean, he was he was a terrible person in season 1, and he got like a flashback. Well, not a flashback, more like hallucination. Like that was hallucinating him in season 2, and in season 3 they bring him back as a like anti-hero. I mean, he does come back as a villain still with the things he does, and then he becomes an anti-hero when he, you know, reunites with his brother and has a fight with him in the governor's little play thing when they have to fight walkers. Yeah. and then they eventually do leave together because he wants to be with his brother and stuff, because the governor feels like Mal's betrayed him and stuff. And then they're just on the road together. Dell sees someone who's in danger and wants to save him, but Mal just wants to leave him for dead. But then, because his brother wants to help him, he kind of stays to help him, but he does want something in return, I guess. And then he shoots his brother because he thinks he's going to do something bad to those people he just saved. Just how things are, man. I know the things Mel did when he was with the governor, when he kidnapped Glenn and Maggie. You know, just all them things, man. And everything that happened in the prison when they first found it, when it was, you know, going inside, and they thought they cleared out all the walkers. I mean, the first time Herschel gets bit and they have to cut off his leg. The second time, like, possibly three, but it was just two characters get killed in that scene. When more walkers come and just several characters die. Basically, Laurie, you know, Rick's wife, which he's just destroyed for a lot of the season because of it, and Tyrese, T-Dog, sorry, Tyrese. He didn't die until season 5. What am I talking about? But yeah, T-Dog, yeah, because he basically sacrifices himself to protect Carol, even though it looks like possibly both of them die anyway. But they actually find Carol later on, yeah, and it wasn't for T-Dog, like, we would have never got the badass Carol that we got to see throughout the whole show, yeah. And then eventually they find out about Woodbury, and they kind of find out bad stuff about the place, and they end up attacking it with some of the prisoners who, I guess some of them join them, but then some of them try to kill Wick and stuff, but then, you know, Wick just takes them out. Traps one of them in a place where the walkers just devours them, and the way how, you know, the shit happens line, and then whoosh, just like, with the machete, like, just so many classic moments. And there was a lot of great scenes in season 3, but it's still my least favourite season because of how much they skipped and how they ruined, like, not Michonne's character, Andrea's character, because Michonne, like, she was a great character. She had more character to it in the comic, because she kind of becomes comic Andrea as the show goes on. Like, season 3, like, that's the closest we got to Michonne, well, comic Michonne, but she quickly becomes Andrea when they kill off Andrea at the end, because Andrea for most of this season is with the governor, which was just a weird choice. Like, there was a point where she could have joined back with her crew when the governor was trying to negotiate with him, and, you know, the only reason they haven't, like, tried to kill him yet is because, you know, because of Andrea. But then, you know, obviously it doesn't work out. Andrea tries to, when Andrea realizes that the governor's a bad guy, and he literally keeps, like, you know, heads in flipping bowls, and his daughter flipping in a room, like, just all that crap. Which Michonne sees all that and leaves while stabbing him in the eye and stuff. Yeah. Andrea kind of finds out a bit too late, and when she tries to escape, she gets captured and then killed, because basically the doctor guy who works with the governor, like, I think he basically tries to betray the governor as well, but then kills him and leaves him as a walker for Andrea to get devoured by him. Andrea does kill the walker, but she does get bit, and it's kind of too late for her. And to think that they kind of tease, like, how she was going to die in the comic near the end of the Whisperer War. I mean, basically at the end of the Whisperer War, when all those walkers, it was basically No Way Out Part 2 was happening, and Eugene nearly died in the comic, but then Andrea saves him, but then she gets bit. Like, man, that was like some of the saddest shit I've seen in the whole franchise. Jesus Christ, because that became his new wife, man, in the comic. Because, you know, in the TV show, like, the men were shown, you know, Rick's wife, and because she was basically the Andrea of the TV show, yeah, instead of the actual Andrea who they ruined. Mel, he gets to die a hero because basically Dell just feels like he's like his brother's failing him again, and just has so much regret because he just feels like he's no good. So what he decides to do in the end is try to take out as much of the governor's men as possible. And he ends up taking out a huge amount, yeah. But the governor still gets the final blow because Martinez helps him. and you just get the "you're not gonna hear me" beg line, like what it says in season 1, and the governor just says no, and Mel's done, and then you just get the scene with Daryl finding him as a walker, and you just see like the most saddest scene from Daryl. Yeah, man, because that's the biggest cry he has in the whole show. There's the one where he feels like when he sees Rick's death, which we know he didn't die, but you know he thinks Rick died in that moment, and because Rick basically became his brother around season 4 time, you know, with the line "You're my brother," which I'll get to that when I talk about season 4 next time. But yeah, just seeing his brother's death, it broke him. And then when they tried to help Andrea, like it's already too late for her, and the governor's like left the place. Yeah, things just seemed like it was a mess, basically. Yeah. Because even though they won, they still lost people. Yeah, they're gonna lose a lot more in season 4, man. When the governor tries to attack again, which I'll get to that season. But overall, this season was just, I mean, when I rewatch it, there's things I like more, but it's still not my favorite season because of them not really doing the storyline justice and killing off Andrea, which was like top 5 characters in the comic, and they completely ruined her and made her like one of the worst characters in the TV show. Like, but yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I don't want this review to be too long, so yeah. Hope you enjoyed the review, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Leave a like and peace.